Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the session on careers at Mears. So my name is Tanya Wadsworth, and I have the pleasure of being Head of Talent Management for Mears. And today I'm going to talk to you through what Mears is as a company and what we do. I'm going to talk you through apprenticeships in Mears and how this can lead to a rewarding long-term career. I'm going to give you a little bit of background in terms of my career and how apprenticeships can also support a career path later on in your career journey. And then last but by all means not least, and probably the most exciting bit of this morning, I'm going to finish with a live Q&A session with a few of our apprentice ambassadors who will tell you what it's really like to be an apprentice. So I'm going to now move on to a little bit about Mears. So some of you may have heard of Mears as a company before, or you might have seen our vans around in the communities that you live in, and you might know what we do. But for those that don't know anything about Mears, so Mears is one of the UK's leading housing and care providers. And what that means is we have employees across the UK, so that's anything from Northern Ireland, Scotland, England and Wales. And we're either repairing, maintaining, managing homes or delivering care services within supported living and extra care schemes. So we deliver this work through contracts through typically local councils, housing associations and central government contracts. And the most important thing for us to Mears is making sure that we keep people safe, we keep them warm and we keep them comfortable within their homes. So as a business, we are really passionate about making a difference to people's lives. So what that translates to is we have a very people-centred approach, and whether that be customers, colleagues that work for Mears or people within the communities that we work within, we make sure that that whole thread of people flows through what we do. So we're more than just a housing or care company. We're a people business, and that is really important to us because we deliver a lot of services through our people. Our culture is built on teamwork, respect, and doing the right thing. So we're really proud of having a diverse workforce, and we believe that everyone should feel as though they belong and can reach their full potential, no matter what background or diversity they might have. So what does that mean in terms of Mears? So I thought it'd be helpful to just do a few key stats about Mears. So as you can see, as I was popping some figures up on the slide, is that we have 5,900 colleagues that we employ across the UK. So the roles, just to give a bit of context on what that means for housing maintenance, care and support services and housing management. It means that we employ skilled tradespeople such as electricians, plumbers, gas engineers, multi-skilled operatives, as well as supervisors, housing managers, and apprenticeships, what we'll be talking about a little bit later on today. And that's in both trade and business support roles. We also, because we're a big company, house and employ our own central services teams. So whilst we have our core delivery service, we have central services like IT, finance, HR, which I work part of, health and safety, comms and marketing. So we have a really wide range of roles that we do offer. So whatever your skill set is, a career within Mears, means making a positive impact whilst developing your future. We're proud to say that, as a service delivery provider, we have great customer satisfaction. So when you think about the amount of jobs that we deliver throughout the year and how many homes that we have that we deliver services to, 88% of customer satisfaction is really great for us. And we are really passionate about letting our colleagues give back every day. So one thing that we do as part of Mears, and if you were an employee of Mears, is you get 2 days paid to do volunteering and fundraising. So that could be something within local schools, charities, community projects. And we've done lots of volunteering hours, as you can see from the slide, with over 29,000 hours of community project volunteering. And each year we deliver thousands of hours of community work to create those opportunities for people of all backgrounds. And when we say that we operate across the UK, when you look at that in terms of tenants or service users, we provide services to just over 1 million people, and that's maintaining or managing circa 450,000 homes across the UK. So really, really big demographic there. And we have a culture where we want to ensure that we are fair and we are inclusive. And we're really proud of some of the accreditation work that we do. So one of the big ones is that we've stayed in the top 75 employer social mobility index for several years. And that's part of recognising that different people need different support from different backgrounds. And that includes, you know, depending on what background you come from working class backgrounds. So, you know, really pleased to be part of a company that makes sure that they tailor a solution so everyone can thrive at work. And we're really proud to say that we actually had recognition as Organisation of the Year at the UK Social Mobility Awards as a result of that work. We also, as a business, ensure that employee voice is at the heart of everything we do. And we have some key initiatives in place, like employee representative teams, employee networks, and our apprentice ambassadors, who you'll hear from a little bit later. And, you know, one thing that we do is make sure that we measure how happy our employees are, and how we do that is by doing something called an engagement survey. And we're again recognised as one of the top 10 best big companies to work for within the UK. And I hope this really shows you how and what is important to Mears as a business, and you know, meaning that there's lots of opportunities, not only for you know, doing a job with Mears, but also bringing back into the community and investing back into the communities that we work in to help start and grow careers. So one of the ways in which you can start your career in Mears is through apprenticeships, and choosing an apprenticeship after school could be one way to kickstart your career, because it allows you to earn whilst you learn. So you can gain real world experience alongside a recognised qualification. So apprenticeships give you that hands-on skills that employers like Mears value. And it's with the aim to help you build some confidence, help you grow your professional network, and start shaping your future. So, you know, for anyone who wants practical experience after they finish school, or want a career pathway into some like kind of clear, exciting careers, apprenticeships might be that launch pad for you. In 2025, we recruited just over 130 apprentices across Mears Group, and we really do like to invest in our future. It was great to see, you know, we had over 13,000 applications this year. So, you know, applying for an apprenticeship can be tough competition. So my advice to you is prepare if this is the route that you're thinking of, because this was only, you know, almost, when you think about it, 100 applicants for every one apprentice that we're advertising for. And we're seeing those numbers increase year on year, which is great to see. And we offer lots of different apprenticeships at Mears. So anything from business admin apprentices, being a bricklayer, business analyst roles, business support, carpentry and joinery, customer service, gas engineer, plumbing, plastering, painting and decorating, roofing, being a recruiter, being part of human resources, being a software developer, and that's just to name a few. But all of which can lead to a great long-term career in Mears in various different professions, as you can see. So doing an apprenticeship, whilst it can be a rewarding career choice, we also recognise within Mears that it's important that you have the right support in place. So how we structure apprenticeships in our organisation is we make sure there's lots of people around to support you, because we want to make sure that we help you to succeed. So if you do choose an apprenticeship, you won't be on your own, you know, and everyone wants you to succeed. So as you can see from the slide in the puzzle picture, we have lots of different pieces to the puzzle that make sure that you are at the centre of everything that we do to support apprentices. And that is whether it be your manager, it's the HR team, it's your mentor, it's the team that you're working with, it's the training provider, or, you know, like with Mears, you have employee networks. Everyone is in place to support you and make sure that you're successful. So if you're unsure of what it would be like to be an apprentice or what support you get, this just gives you a bit of an idea of how we support you in Mears, and we always put you at the centre. So there's lots of people on hand to make sure you succeed, and there's help if you need it. And apprenticeships isn't for, you know, just for the start of your career within your role. We also offer learning opportunities via apprenticeships as you work in Mears in different roles to help you build your career. So for myself, as part of my career, I work part of the HR team. So for anyone who doesn't know what human resources is about, it's all about working with people, helping the business that you work in succeed through their employees. So that could be from recruiting, supporting development, training programs, making sure people feel valued and safe at work. So we could look at things like employee wellbeing and workplace policies. So in a nutshell, it involves working with lots of different people, helping solve problems and creating a positive environment. And what you can see from on this slide is, whilst I didn't start my career as an apprentice, and what I'd like to say is everyone's career path is different. What I would give as advice is it's important to find out what you enjoy. So for me, it was always helping people and always wanting to learn. So whilst I didn't start as an apprentice, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, I actually recently completed an apprenticeship whilst working. And as you can see from my career history, it is possible to build a meaningful long-term career with an employer. And for me, it was within our human resources department. And I had a few roles before I got to the role that I'm in today, starting as a HR administrator, building up my basic knowledge and progressing to where I am today. And, you know, as I grew my career, I realised how important it was to have managers helping me grow and develop. And I'm very grateful for my current manager who took the time to help me develop. So that's led me to helping one other people develop in their careers. So whilst I started a very long time ago, so 18 years ago, you know, it's fine not to really know what you want to do, because the role of head of talent management didn't exist when I started my career. So, you know, please don't worry if you're not sure where you're heading, because things also do change. But one thing I did find helpful in my career was studying whilst I was working, and I did 2 qualifications with Mears that helped me support both of those qualifications, including an apprenticeship. Studying isn't for everyone, and it's not the only way to progress when you join an employer, but do speak to your employer about how to progress if that's what you want to do. And whether you choose an apprentice or you want to choose a different route like I did, it's important to recognise that everyone's career path can look different. So I'm now going to move on to the live Q&A session with our apprentice ambassadors to tell you a little bit about what it's like to be an apprentice in Mears and what to expect. So for anyone who doesn't know what an apprentice ambassador is, they're either current or former apprentice, and they help promote apprenticeships by sharing experiences, you know, like events like today, or via social media, or giving presentations or career talks. So they've also recently helped supporting workshops and events in Mears, and they did a fantastic job leading our apprentices welcome event a few weeks ago, which welcomed all of our apprentices across the UK. So joining me today is a few of them. So we've got Demi, who's a business support apprentice, Denise, who is an apprentice in property maintenance, Jace, who is an apprentice plasterer, Camille, who is a facilities operative, and Tanya, who is a carpenter in Mears. So I'm just going to start sharing my presentation slide, and by magic they have hopefully all joined. And I'm going to start with some questions. Morning, everyone.
I'm just struggling with the sound. I'm having a bit of a technical issue, so you're very quiet, unfortunately.
Okay, so I will try and ask as loud as I can. So I'm going to go to you, Danya, first. Can you answer this question for me? What would be your advice for anyone who's considering or hasn't considered an apprenticeship?
I think my advice would be to anybody that's considering or hasn't considered yet an apprenticeship. It's a fantastic opportunity to earn while you learn. There's not a lot of learning profiles that allow you to do that. And it's not just, if you was to go to college and learn from a textbook, you don't pick up the tricks of the trade that you normally would when you're working with somebody, because you're learning from their experiences. So I think that that's very good. And securing a trade, I think, is always going to be needed. So it's something that AI can't do.
Perfect, thank you. So Denise, morning. For you, what apprenticeship did you do and why?
Well, my apprenticeship is property maintenance. However, I did start off wanting to do a plumbing apprenticeship, but I didn't have any GCSEs because I dedicated my life to being a mum from an early age. So that kind of changed. But now I am doing the property maintenance, which will eventually become like multi-skilled operative. I would not choose anything else. So, and the why is pretty much because I can't sit still in an office or anywhere, so I really need to be hands-on. So that's the why.
Thank you. And Jace, morning. For you, what was the most surprising thing you liked about being an apprentice?
Morning, Tanya. I think for me, the most surprising thing I liked about being an apprentice was the opportunities to volunteer at events and help out in my community, as well as doing speaking events in schools to help the younger generation have an insight to what an apprenticeship's like.
Thanks for that. Great. And Camille, morning. What was the most challenging part of doing the coursework?
Morning. For me, it was really just finding the time, as all my learning and like coursework had to be done on site because I didn't really go to college or anything. So basically, I would just have to take like an hour each day, really just to do my coursework and kind of move aside from my main job.
Great, thank you. And Demi, morning. Can you tell us what does your apprenticeship involve?
So, being a business support, I support everyone on my team. Every day is different, and you can't really predict what a day-to-day like role is going to be for myself, because you can't predict what storms are going to come in, what emergencies are going to drop. And I forgot to say as well, I'm based on a planning team for repairs and maintenance. If you're wondering what I was on about.
Thanks, Demi. Okay, and I suppose I'm gonna jump to this question for you all, and I'm gonna start with Demi. If you were starting your apprenticeship tomorrow again, what would be your advice to yourself?
So for me, when I come into this role, it was very daunting because I've never worked in an office before, and I was petrified coming in. My advice would be just be yourself and don't be afraid to speak up, because no one's going to have a problem with what you have to say.
Thanks, Demi. Camille, how about you? So if you were starting an apprenticeship tomorrow again, what would be your advice to yourself?
I would probably just say like don't be scared to ask questions, because I feel like that's the mistake that I made when I first started at Mears. I could have learned a lot of extra stuff when I didn't. So yeah.
And you, Denise?
I believe that okay to make mistakes. That's what I would tell myself from the beginning, because it's where you learn the most, making mistakes. I think Jace would agree on that as well and want to touch on it maybe.
Yeah, Jace, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I definitely tell myself to, slow down and learn to walk before I can run type of thing. So, I mean, having big goals is amazing, but rushing towards them often means you'll fall over and you'll stumble on the way. But what's important is getting back up and taking it step by step and not rushing towards your goals.
Okay. And Tanya, do you want to just answer that question as well? And I can see we've got a live question that's come through as well in a minute. So, Tanya, can you just answer, if you're starting your apprenticeship tomorrow again, what would be your advice to yourself?
I think if I was starting my apprenticeship again tomorrow, I would definitely write things down, take notes, because when you're asked to do your portfolio, you need to recall everything that you've done. And I think that if you write it down at the time when you do it, the steps that you learn while you were doing it, it's just easier when it comes to doing your endpoint portfolio.
Perfect, thank you. And we've actually got a live question that's come through. So I'm not sure who wants to take this. Perhaps Camille, would you mind taking this? So did you know about Mears before you applied?
Honestly, well, actually, yeah, I did, because when I went to school, Mears actually covered my school for facilities management, so I did kind of recognize the brand, but realistically, I didn't know what they do and things like that. But I applied off Indeed, and then I kind of saw what it was about, and I was interested from then.
Okay, thanks, Camille. That's perfect. And thank you, Caroline, for that question. And I suppose from my perspective, Demi, could you talk about your career change and apprenticeship journey as the last question?
So mine's quite different to some people that just start and do an apprenticeship. So I actually went to sixth form and got my qualifications in health and social care, medical science, and then went to uni and did nursing and ended up actually dropping out and paid for my own qualification within a pharmacy. And then once I achieved that last year, I decided it was time for a career change, which is when I chose my apprenticeship. And I actually chose Mears for my apprenticeship because something stood out for me for the careers change, which was that you didn't need any experience. And I thought it was a great starting point for, I didn't actually know what I wanted to do to change my career. So it was a good starting point. And when I researched Mears, there's so many different opportunities and career journeys that I could go into.
Perfect, thank you. So I think we probably just come to about time ready for the next presentation to start. So thank you everyone, the apprentice ambassadors, for joining today. Really appreciate it. And I hope everyone found the session really informative and helpful. And hope you have a great rest of the day on the event.